stream. Hey, Malarame, thank you so much for the follow, man. Really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying your stay here. And as always, feel free to ask questions if you have them. So here we are, round 2, Chaos versus Skaven. Now, going to see Ikit Claw, as well as a Plague Priest Plague Priest, Ikit Zizap, Ishish Triads, the Mortars, 4 Rat Ogres, and some Clan Rats with Skaven Slave supporting. Now, for my army, I have a lot of Marauders. We got Marauder Horsemen with Marauder Horsemasters, 2 Horsemen and 1 Horsemaster on either flank. Got the Demon Spew, got 2 Manticores, and I deployed a Hell Cannon here, because why the hell not? Also, another thing in hindsight that I'm like, maybe not the best pick, but keeping it behind this hill so it can't be sniped by the Skaven, hopefully trying to kill off some of their elite infantry, but unfortunately there's really not any elite infantry besides the Ixtras Triads, and they have stock, so can't see them. And immediately going to be shooting fireballs at Ikit, trying to do some damage. He's a little bit susceptible to those, coming out here to try to pressure the Rat Ogres, but he's going to keenly pull back, not allow them to get any damage, and Ikit Zizap is going to start firing away at him. And yeah, I'm getting some nice damage on the Clan Rats, but right now the Poison Wind Mortars have closed the gap. And even though these guys are cheap, oh man, does it hurt to watch them get shot by those volleys. They just take so much damage, and immediately those mortars are going to start raking in the value. At this point, I figured it was actually a Mimic, and I didn't target it with the Hell Cannon because of that. It's actually the real unit. That's funny. Oh, look at that. I'm even trying to target the Poison Wind Mortars, but not going to be able to hit them. They're such a bad target for the Hell Cannon. And all the while, Ikit Zizap going down. It's actually hitting the Mirror Guard now. And the Poison Wind Mortars, he's just changing targets every time. And look at that. One volley. These guys are down 1/3 of health. That is painful. And nice staggered army from my opponent here, too. You know, he's keeping some Clan Rat spears in the back with Rat Ogres to protect the cannon. And everything else, he's just continuing to push up. But I think at this point, he is rightly reading the battlefield and recognizing that his Poison Wind Mortar is outclassing my Hell Cannon. And, you know, all of this infantry, he can just sit back and destroy it, send his Plague Priest forward. Obviously, our cannon is going to come out and try to counter that movement, not let him get away with it scot-free. But at this point, you know, it's just my Marauders are just getting wasted by those Poison Wind Mortars. And pretty soon here is going to be the extreme misplays from me. But as of right now, still relatively even. I would say they are performing better in the trade so far, considering how much damage has gone down on those guys. But at this point is when I start trying to pressure flanks and really lose control of my micro. I just have to say I was zoned out, and at this point we're going to start trying to pressure the flanks. The idea being, if we get everybody in the back with one of these Manticores, we should be able to overwhelm the Rat Ogres and Spears protecting, maybe take out the Zizap, which is now targeting our Kaon. But at this point, you know, that's a really spread out formation, and it's going to really test the limits of my micro. Over here, Skaven are starting to push forward, but all the while you can kind of see he's keeping this nice central formation to where he's not spreading out too thin. He's putting units where he needs to have them, effectively countering all of the skirmish forces that I'm sending around here. And at this point, I'm just going to start losing focus on what I should be targeting. And as you can see, it's just very passive. Archaon's sitting in the back line. Hell Cannon's still firing away, but at the moment, you know, just a lot of my units getting decimated without really trading for anything. Clan Rats coming in to combat the Marauders. Over here, we have Archaon, the Ever-Chosen, coming over trying to help out. But a very precarious situation considering how outnumbered he is. And now the Hell Cannon is about to get shut down. And no bueno. Over here, though, here's the big misplay. This is when I completely for my micro, because I get Archaon in no bad situation. I try to pull him out, and then I leave these guys. Look at him. I'm not moving them. There's no micro here. These guys are just holding still, and then finally I'm like, oh crap, I gotta run away. But already 3 of the units are routing and taking a ton of damage, and Ikit Zizap is going after him, and I have Ikit Claw just also chasing him, and here comes a Howling Warp Gale to pin that Feral Manticore in place. And just like that, with one huge lapse in my micro, one huge lapse in me paying attention and not moving these units like I needed to, and he just got so much damage. And immediately my morale sinks. I feel like a piece of shit because I'm just coming off of another loss, and already I've just thrown away a huge part of my army, I feel. And over here, I'm going to be seeing the Hell Cannon getting countered. An Archaon surrounded by a bunch of units that he's kind of wasting time in combat with when he could be on to bigger, better things. And right now, finally starting to get some work on Rat Ogres, but once again, the Rat Ogres are just coming out. I'm not pulling back in time, and they're doing more and more damage. And, you know, at this point, I just gotta keep kicking myself. I have units way over here, units way over here. I've split my forces up too far apart, and I'm microing both sides poorly. What is it Ron Swanson says? It's better to full-ass one thing than half-ass a bunch of things. And I definitely half-ass both of these engagements, and Turin is just pulling it apart, crushing it. He's got a Warp Grinder over here. Everything in my army is just outmatched and outnumbered right now. He's even throwing down a Brass Orb here. Clanart Spears is just like everything in my army just fell to pieces, and beautiful plays here from Turin as he takes out the entire army besides Archaon in a convincing fashion, and at that point, it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, we'll see. Manticore's, one of them still healthy. All of my horsemen that are remaining are going to be pulling back the exact same way they came without anything to show for it. Ikazazap is still online. Got a Manticore dead because of it. And a lot of damage on our skirmishing forces, and at this point, you know, what you going to do? Archaon, unfortunately, doing okay in combat. He's dishing out a lot of damage to the Plague Priest. And I think, did I bring Burning Head on top of him? Yeah, sure did. So maybe a Burning Head right now can help turn things around, but oh, there it goes. Burninating, but not really going to do a lot of damage. Perhaps not cast in the best place. Because is that continuing to fire away, focusing on the Feral Manticore, doing a lot of damage to this Manticore far over in the corner. And, ooh, a good way to shut down the Poison Mortars, Malaraim. Whew. I mean, there's definitely a lot of them, but in my play style, I usually play Rush, although this battle isn't showing it. I think one of the best ways to shut them down is just to close the gap as quickly as possible and get something on top of them. When it comes to shooting them, they're kind of hard targets to hit. Like, look at them. They usually have a thin formation. They have good armor at 70. So I do think the best way to deal with them is to get them in melee. Sorry if that's not the best answer, Malaraim, but in terms of unit sniping, they're a hard unit to counter. Artillery, I don't really recommend wasting shots on them. And when it comes to other ranged units, it's hard to find something that can outrange them in terms of infantry firepower. And at this point, the writing's on the wall. Archaon's getting surrounded, and the battle's going to be over from there. And yeah, very well played to Turin. Another very bad battle on my part. And I got to keep emphasizing, like, I don't want to be saying that to take away from Turin's play here. He's been playing this very, very well. I'm just disappointed after feeling like I performed quite well in the previous two matchups, and then coming to this and just shitting the bed, as they say. So, very well played to Turin. Gotta always go for Chaos. Yeah, Crazy TG, I love Chaos. And I was feeling good about Chaos. I had beaten the Empire from Aracrastic with them. I had beaten the Lizardmen from Rubber Duck with them. And then up against the Skaven, a matchup I'm usually pretty confident in, just kind of changing up the build last minute. I think Sartorial is the lord I usually stick with here, and in hindsight I will continue to stick with. Hellcannon got 82 kills, but it was not on valuable targets, and that was kind of a map pick where I was like, I know this map, I can put this here and arc it over and maybe get some free pressure in, but very well played to him. You know, he just he knew what he had to do. He knew he had the ranged advantage with the Warp Lightning Cannon and the Poison Wind Mortars for the infantry, and he just played it patiently. And he never let himself get completely isolated and decimated. He had all of his units in nice little pockets of units that complemented each other. Whereas me, I dropped the micro when I tried to go into the back lines. I got punished for it. There's like no kills on these guys. Manticores got sent to their untimely deaths for no good reasons. And really, in hindsight, I think the biggest thing I needed to do in that battle is pull back my infantry, maybe hide them in the forest, and just let the Hell Cannon fire away. And then when he's forced to approach, then try to come out and get into better engagements. But because I sent my cavalry all the way into the rear, my infantry unsupported in the front, he was just able to take out both elements piecemeal. So, but yeah, Malarim, it is definitely hard. But that's like that's my fault for allowing it to get to that position, because you're absolutely right, Van Dangley. It's super hard to win when things are in such far-flung areas, but I should never have let myself get in that situation in the first place. Why? Because my Hell Cannon wasn't under any pressure. I probably should have just sat back, let the Hell Cannon fire away, and hope he became impatient enough to come towards me, and then I could try to kill some units. In concentrated attacks with mixed unit tactics of horsemen and skirmishers supporting manticores, supporting infantry. Then I could have gotten something done, but I just split everything up and lost it all by itself. So very well played. And yeah, rushing, the way to go.